eating healthy is so important, and it really makes a big difference in your life.
Today we have 2 recipe salmon foil packs, which is an easy and amazing recipe, and also an orange smoothie that we're gonna do is high protein. We're gonna present it as a smoothie soup instead of a smoothie, just something different and fun. So I'm gonna let our dietitian, Allison, start with the really good information that we have about protein.
Okay. Hi, everybody. My name is Allison Dolkowitz. I'm one of the dietitians here in the Cancer Center inpatient. So today's class, like she said, we're going to be demonstrating 2 recipes high in protein. I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about protein today. I love the salmon dish because it's such an easy cleanup. It's all in foil. You don't have to dirty a dish up. And the other one, smoothie, there's lots of things we can incorporate into it, out of it. However, it's very customizable. I provided a handout for you guys today about protein and a little bit about it, what protein does for our bodies. Protein is the basic building block of our body, so we need it to keep all of our cells in good working order, and it helps repair each and every one of our body cells. We need protein for our muscles, our hair, our bones, our cells, and then especially during times of childhood, pregnancy, infancy, or times of when you're working out a lot, or times of chemo, times of stress, times of surgery, then that's when we need the protein the most, especially to keep our bodies in good working order. So another good thing about protein, also, if you're trying to eat healthy, if you're trying to watch your portions, protein can really help keep you full. It takes more energy to break protein down, so it's also a good food for when you're trying to, watch what you eat, be healthy. If you have a nice lean piece of protein at every meal, you're likely to stay full throughout the day. Protein definitely keeps us satiated, so we don't go starving from meal to meal. It definitely helps balances our meal. If you want to know how much protein you need, it's on there, but the RDA, or the recommended dietary allowance, is 0.8 grams per kilogram. So if you divide your body weight in pounds by 2.2 to get your kilograms and times it by 0.08, that's the minimum you should have. And I can answer any questions after class as well. That's just for a normal average adult. But if you're exercising every day, if you're strength training, if you're endurance training, if you're getting chemo, if you're getting surgery, then you are going to need more. Some athletes need up to twice that, up to 1.4 to 1.8 grams per kilogram.
Is it okay for me to eat a lot of protein even though I don't need it as much? No.
If you don't need it and you're getting more protein, it's just likely to be stored as fat if you're getting excessive calories from protein. But if you're working out a lot and you're really strength training, then sometimes you do need the extra protein. But your body can only absorb up to so much protein at one time. So that means if you go to a steakhouse and your body can absorb a 4-ounce piece of steak, right? So if you have an 8-ounce piece of steak, those other 4 ounces, they're just going to be excreted. They're not. Your body's not going to put them to good use. So your body can only use so much protein at a time. That's why a lot of bodybuilders or athletes, they tend to eat small, frequent meals throughout the day with a small portion of protein at every meal, because your body can take up about 30 grams, 25 to 30 grams at every 4 hours.
So that's great to know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you're going to have a protein shake with 20 grams of protein, then eat a meal, your body, like right after, your body's only going to absorb around 30 grams.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. So I see a good amount of protein to eat at each meal is around 20 grams. So let's get started with these recipes. I'm excited because we got, we're making salmon today, which is an excellent source of lean protein. So it's always good to choose nice lean sources of protein. And that will decrease our risk for heart disease, the less saturated fat. So I am ready to get started.
I know you are, because we have 2. Actually, I'm gonna do 2 recipes. Well, actually, I'm gonna show you the main recipe that you have in front of you, which is the salmon foil packs. But utilizing the same fish, I'm gonna show you a bonus recipe that is super easy for those that would like to do a combination of sweet and savory. So 2 amazing recipes. One is more like an appetizer, or it can be a dinner as well, but it is very, very easy, just incorporating 1 extra ingredient. So for this recipe, I'm gonna do exactly what I did when I prepared the recipe. You can definitely follow the instructions on the recipe that you have in front of you, but I'm gonna show you what I did on my end, which it was much easier for me. So you will find that as you preparing the recipe, well, it tells me to do this first, but I found that doing this, it helps me, or the process is much quicker. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and get started with the sauce, and the reason why is because I'm going to cut my my fish on the cutting board. So I want to get go ahead and get all my preparation ready, which is veggies and sauce, and get it out of the way so I don't create cross-contamination. So that's the reason why I did it this way. So for the sauce, it is really simple, and I want my sous chef to help me with this long one.
Okay.
We're going to do soy sauce.
Okay.
Just a little bit. And Allison and I were mentioning the fact that if you do not want, and this is low sodium soy sauce, but if you choose not to do the soy sauce, you can absolutely do balsamic, right?
You can do a little, but you mean you just want to do a little splash of it. You can season it
Absolutely.
your own. Lemon juice.
Balsamic vinegar.
Lemon juice or balsamic vinegar. I love lemon juice. I love lemon
Me
on my
too.
salmon, because then you can really taste what the salmon tastes like.
You know what I was thinking as well, because it happened that I was eating some oranges when I was preparing this dish, and when I brought it out of the oven, I tried it, and I still had kind of like the flavor of the orange, and I was like, whoa, this will be so good with orange juice, fresh orange juice instead of soy sauce. And it is outstanding. The only thing the soy sauce is going to give you, as far as the element, is going to give you that Asian flavor. But if you don't care to have it, if you're not really craving Asian food, then definitely do orange juice, or even a compound butter, utilizing unsalted butter with whatever herbs you like, such as sage or rosemary, or maybe some parsley and garlic. That will be a great option for this recipe. So garlic and ginger. I'm adding some really good amounts of ginger, more than what it calls in the recipe, just because I know ginger is so good for you, right?
And ginger also is a natural antiemetic. It really helps with nausea too. So if you're
It does.
battling nausea, some ginger always helps with that.
So this is a great sauce. Garlic goes in here as well. And garlic is one of the main ingredients in almost every recipe, right? It really gives the food such a great flavor.
And is that one clove? Or
And I'm doing just one, but you can do 2 or 3 if you like. This sauce looks amazing, right? And we're going to do a little bit of honey. You don't have to. If you do the orange juice, I recommend that you don't do the honey. But it's a little bit, just a little touch of honey. It's going to caramelize our fish really nicely. So that looks really good. So now I have some red onions, I have some broccoli, and I have some red bell peppers. If you like spicy, you can do jalapenos, you can do serranos, you can do habanero, which is super spicy. But if you like a combination of sweet peppers, you can definitely do that. The orange, the yellow ones, the blue ones. I'm kidding. I say the blue ones. But you can do a combination of all of them, and it's going to look beautiful anyways. So we have our veggies ready, right? Let me move my pepper over here. And are you ready for the fun part?
we are.
I'm going to put my fish in this little bowl. And I have my fish on some ice because I didn't know how long it was going to take me to prepare it. So I don't want to just have it at room temperature. I always try to keep my meats, my raw meats, cold at 41 degrees. So I have my bowl over here, and I have my salmon. And with this piece, I'm going to make 2 recipes just to show you. Let me move this over here so you can actually see. So as you can see, I always mention this brown part, which I don't like. I'm going to go ahead and take it off using my knife as an angle, just like this. And I'm going to get rid of this. It's all about presentation, right? So I have my fish here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut it into 4 pieces, right? So for this, I'm going to add this over here. And I want you to put a little bit of sauce here, Allison.
Half of it?
Just, yeah, like half of it. Yeah. Perfect.
And for reference, this probably was right at a 4-ounce piece. Was that a pre-portioned
Absolutely.
piece? So that was probably a perfect 4-ounce piece, just for
So
reference.
if it was 4, it's absolutely 1 ounce per piece, yes. So we're gonna just mixture this right here. We're gonna marinate it. Actually, you can do this overnight and leave it marinate. It's gonna be so amazing in flavor. But for the second recipe, and I'm gonna show you in a minute, I'm gonna get some, this is kind of like an appetizer fun recipe. I'm gonna do pineapple. And then I'm gonna cut this into another half. I'm gonna add this, more pineapple.
Salmon kebabs.
Yes. And remember that I said save the other half? We're going to go ahead and just kind of like marinate this in here. And if you want to do that for me, that will be great. As we do this, you can absolutely do this with chicken, right? Because we're talking protein. If you make it with salmon, you don't have it, or whether it's too expensive, you can absolutely do chicken breast, right? And you agree with my choice, chicken breast. Is the pan getting nice and hot?
Feels like it.
Okay.
When I shop for salmon, if there's a good sale, I always try to get wild salmon, wild Alaskan, wild caught. So many more omega-3, so many more benefits to the wild salmon versus the farm raised. But they all still have the benefits and the nutrients. But if you ever see a good sale on wild caught Alaskan salmon, that's the best.
Yes. So I'm going to get my foil because this is a fun part, right? It says to take it to the oven. You don't have to because you can just put it on top of the pan, cover it, and let it steam on top of the pan. You don't have to do the oven. And that's just, if you're making a lot, then I would definitely recommend that you put them in the oven because you get it over with. You put them all in the oven, take them out. Especially if you're going to do like a get-together and you want to cook for your family or friends. So I have 2 foil papers. I'm going to put this over here. So you're going to do the same thing with the kebabs, right? It's okay we don't get it all because we're going to put the sauce on top. So the kebabs, you can actually add the veggies here, or you can actually do a quick saute, which I'm going to show you in a minute. So I'm going to wrap this. And we're just going to put it right on the pan, right? And what I would do, I will put a little bit of water just to steam. You close it and you let it be, and it's going to take about 8 to 10 minutes because salmon is not going to take long at all. So I know this is a big piece of foil.
Would you put this on medium? What temperature would you recommend?
I would definitely recommend it on medium-high heat.
Okay. Should I?
Yeah.
Do that?
Yeah, I think it's on medium, isn't it? Right on, yeah, we got it. Okay, so we put it here. We're just gonna let it, see, this is the easiest part. So I have another one over here, which is the other recipe, which is my fish. Just like that. And I'm just gonna do one right now. I have some more of the sauce here. Broccoli. Keep in mind, veggies are totally optional. Broccoli is a great option for this. You can do cauliflower. You can do zucchini, yellow squash. It is totally up to you. Whatever you like, whatever you have available at home. Some onions. Doesn't it smell wonderful?
It does. It smells so good.
And you just do the sauce.
And this is a nice kind of like a one pot dish per
Yes.
se. All you have to do, if you wanted a starch on the side, you could steam some brown rice, do the minute rice. You could even, if you want the easiest cleanup, you could even get those Uncle Ben's, the brown, the little 90-second. Those are always really good too. And
Absolutely.
that's like a 20-minute, 15-minute dinner right there.
Yes, yes. So this one goes here as well. And we're just going to let them cook right now.
Do we need to cover it or?
So you can put a little bit of water, cover it, and then just let it cook until you open. The most important thing about any raw meats that we cook is to utilize a thermometer. If you have a thermometer, there's no way you're going to overcook or undercook your meats. Fish usually always needs to be cooked at 145 Fahrenheit internal temperature. So if you have one of these things, you just check with the thermometer, and if it reaches to 145 or more, then your fish is ready. For the chicken, if you're doing this instead of, if you're doing chicken instead of fish, definitely it's 165 chicken, right?
Mhm.
So we're gonna move this away, Allison, because we're just gonna move it to the back.
Okay.
And I'm gonna move it because it's hot. I don't want you to, yeah. Smells good already, and we're not even, okay. See, I'm taking care of my sous chef. I don't want you to get burned with that stuff. So I'm gonna do a little high heat for my veggies instead of medium. I'm gonna start with high heat. And I'm gonna put a little more high on this. Okay, for my veggies, because you can have the veggies with the fish, but for the kebabs, you can absolutely do what I'm about to do, which is a little bit of olive oil. We're gonna let it get nice and hot. What I usually do at home when I know that I'm gonna be cooking a lot, I use my little gadget, which is my garlic.
Which I still have to get one of those.
Yes, and I put a really good olive oil, and I keep it in my olive oil in the fridge, and I just use a little bit at a time. When I'm doing I do garlic in most of my meals, so it's a great idea just to have it handy. Even if you put bread in the oven, like whole wheat, and you just want an extra flavor in there, you can just like brush it with a brush, your bread, and then put a little bit of fresh herbs, whatever you have, like rosemary, parsley, whatever. Okay, so this is getting nice and hot. I want to make sure, Allison, that it's nice and hot. So when you see that the oil is separating, it's really changing. So it's feeling really nice and hot. So I have broccoli, cherry tomatoes, and I have some garlic, but the garlic, I'm not going to add it until this sautés a little bit. I don't want to burn my garlic, and it's going to be pretty bitter. So you want to add some broccoli in there?
Absolutely.
Good job. And then we have some onions. And then we have some tomatoes. And of course, we have some garlic. We're going to do like 1 tablespoon of garlic. So I have some leftover pineapple, and all I'm doing is making really nice and thin cuts. So I'm just going to add it here to add some sweetness, and I'm going to tell you why I'm doing this. So I'm just going to go ahead and add it to the veggies. That's going to give me my sweet and savory flavor. But if you notice, I'm not adding any salt whatsoever because all those flavors are going to be so amazing. The onions are going to caramelize, and they're going to give you that sweet flavor as well as the pineapples, right? So let's check this out. I wish you could see how amazing this is looking. Can you see it on the screen? How is our veggies looking?
Beautiful.
So this, this is going to go on top of this. I think this is great. I don't like to overcook my veggies just because I like to feel something crispy, or the texture needs to be a little crispy. So look at this. Isn't it nice? I'm used to getting... So just a plate of this is just amazing. You put the fish on top, and you let other people, like, this can be 4 portions, right? Let other people enjoy this as well. And another thing that I will do for that is either green onions or just this really amazing chives. I always leave the paper towel so it won't go all over the place. So I will just do this. This is looking like it's ready, so let me just grab it and check. This is great. This is ready. You can just, all you have to do, keep it here so you don't have to get your plate dirty if you don't want to get any plates dirty. All you do is close it like this and let people enjoy. So it's going to go here. And for this, we are going to do some green onions. I like to cut mine right in the middle like that. And then you cut like 4 cuts. You don't get the pieces. You get some really nice minced red onion. And this is kind of like, this is kind of like the last, I love green onions, love them. So don't think that the green part is not as intense as the white one. Sometimes the green part is pretty intense, and this is really good as well. So that's our first recipe. So what do you think about the kebabs? So for the kebabs, you can absolutely put them in the oven and have something really nice and a beautiful presentation. If you want people to come over and be impressed by your cooking, that's a great recipe. So if you want to keep some of the sauce, I would recommend that you make it, maybe double the amount of the sauce and then separate it and don't even get it mixed with the fish and leave it for the end. Like if I want to add more sauce here, I can definitely use this one because it didn't touch the raw meat. So just put it on a little container and have people put, I really like my stuff with a lot of sauce. So maybe you want to double up the amount of the sauce and then make it like that. But I think we can move on to the next recipe, right? For the second recipe, like I mentioned, this is a pretty interesting recipe, right? Orange smoothie, high protein. Why high protein? Because of the yogurt and the milk, right? So you want to touch base on those two ingredients?
Yeah, well, the almond milk isn't going to have as much protein as a regular milk would be, but if you use Greek yogurt in the smoothie, if you use a non-fat, plain Greek yogurt, it has up to 20 grams of protein in a cup of Greek yogurt. So that's a good, Greek yogurt always has much more protein than regular yogurt. So on the recipe, it calls for also cottage cheese, which is very high in protein, just like Greek yogurt is. If you use cottage cheese and you want it a little sweeter, then you can add sweetener. There's sweetener in the recipe, so you can do that to taste. So if you have it in the blender, try a little bit. If you think it needs sweetener, then add some. I wouldn't just initially add like the 2 packs of sweetener because it might be too sweet. So just kind of do sweet to taste. Sweeten it as you prefer. If you use vanilla Greek yogurt, you probably don't need any sweetener. If you use plain Greek yogurt, you might need a little bit. If you use cottage cheese, you might need a little bit. But vanilla Greek yogurt, you probably won't need any sweetener at all.
And so what I was telling Allison what I did when I was doing a lot of smoothies, high protein smoothies, and I was doing vegan, my option always, if I wanted a creamier smoothie, because of the fact that I was not allowed to do yogurt or milk, I was doing almond milk with silk tofu. So that was providing the protein that my body needed, but without the animal protein, which is milk and yogurt and stuff like that. So that will be a great option as well. We're talking about high protein ingredients. I think tofu will be one of the great options for this. So the smoothie, I'm going to mention the ingredients that I'm utilizing today because whatever you have on the recipe, we are not, certain ingredients are different. This is the regular yogurt, vanilla flavor. So therefore, we're going to do exactly what Allison said. We're not going to do any sugar. We're going to get the sugar from this yogurt. If you do the regular Greek yogurt, it's going to be a much creamier texture than the regular because it's thicker, right? So especially if you get a good brand of yogurt, you're going to get a really nice thick yogurt.
If you don't have yogurt, you can also use protein powder. So that will provide the protein you need.
Absolutely.
Just a serving of vanilla protein powder, and you wouldn't need to use yogurt at that point. You can use more liquid. Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and get started with. We're gonna make a lot. Don't do this if you. I'm not using the amounts that you have in front of you. I'm just using a bigger amount because it's a lot of us, right? Okay, so regular yogurt, and I have some fresh orange juice. You can tell the difference in the smell of the orange, right? So I'm going to do orange juice. Yes, yeah. So what I did first, keep in mind that the recipe calls for orange zest. So in order for you to get the orange zest, get it first before you get the juice of the orange, because otherwise we won't be able to do that, right? So we have some nice orange zest that I took off this orange right here, and I'm going to put this aside. And I have vanilla flavor extract. I never ever do any type of extract on my smoothies. That's totally optional, but I don't think I want to put it right now. I want you to try it the most natural possible that you can try it. So make a note. If you don't have to use it, then don't even use it. We have almond milk, unsweetened almond milk. So we're cutting down on sugar a lot, as you can see, as far as the ingredients that we're using. We're already getting some good sugar from the orange anyways, right? So almond. And we need strawberries. Do we want to do some ice?
So if they're frozen strawberries,
Don't do the ice, right?
I always put ice in my smoothies because I feel like it expands it a little bit. It makes it more cold. I always put ice in my. So I definitely, if they're not, are these frozen?
No, they're not.
Then we'll probably definitely need some ice. Yeah.
So yeah, I was gonna say when I make smoothies, it depends what fruit I'm using. I usually freeze my strawberries instead of using ice. I usually freeze my bananas instead of using ice, just so the flavors won't change too much. So cantaloupe, I've been doing cantaloupe and mango lately. So I cut them and I freeze half the mangoes and half of the cantaloupes. I eat them fresh, and then for the smoothies, I actually use the frozen ones. So we're gonna get some of the stuff mixed first, unless everything fits.
There we go. That's a big blender.
It is, huh? Okay, let's.
I know.
It's a chef thing. Magic. Let's cover
I
this,
like that little thing.
and I hope it doesn't. That's another chef thing. You always make mistakes in the kitchen. Yeah, you learn as you go. Okay, so let's move this over here, and just. Whoops. Okay. Secure this really good. And I've learned another thing from my grandma and my mom, especially when you're making salsa, spicy sauce, for the enchiladas, which is red, and it will splash all over the kitchen. Cover it, just in case, right? And let's see if this is working. Well, let's see how our beautiful smoothie. I have a feeling there's a little bit of strawberries in there. Okay, so.
So if I were to look at this and I were playing around in my blender, I would probably add more ice and probably more frozen fruit because
Yes.
you want to have that nice thick consistency.
Absolutely. So I'm going to show you what I would do with mine. I would serve it as a soup. That's a lot of soup.
Nice.
We're going to leave this so we can try it. But for that, I'm going to add some oranges. I'm going to put it here so I can just do a nice presentation. So what I did, I actually flipped my cutting board because remember I was cutting some fish here. Even though you're not going to try this one, I still want to show you that how important it is to keep it pretty clean. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to slice my strawberries. And I always leave the pretty ones for the presentation if possible, right? So strawberries. If it's not thick enough, it's going to go down. Be aware. So as long as we get some on the corner over here, people will know this is strawberry flavor, right? Awesome. This looks really, really nice. Okay, so strawberries. Put this over here. Are you getting hungry?
I am getting very hungry. Yes, everything smells so good.
So oranges, right? Just put them in the corner. One on top of the other one, just like that.
You know, I could eat this for breakfast in the morning, just like
Yes.
a bowl of fruit soup.
I really like smoothies in the morning. As a matter of fact, I had one this morning with pineapple and mangoes with vanilla flavor protein powder.
Yeah.
Almond milk, and that's all I put in some fresh organic raw almonds to give it that nice crunch. So, since it's orange flavor, we want to do orange zest, right? Just like that. And I always like to add something green because green makes everything much better. So you put some green. This mint is from the garden, from the kitchen. I'm always after the mint just because I love mint for my smoothies and my desserts. So isn't this beautiful?
It's very pretty.
Yes, love it on my teas. Yeah, my green tea, my lemonades, pretty much any type of drink that I can get it. I have some oranges here. I'm just going to put one right here. And then I got me some beautiful little flowers. And I really, really like to play with flowers. So I'm just going to put some on top like this. And I always talk about the importance of presentation. Take your time because that's therapy. You're going to feel so good about what you made.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're going to take some time to eat it and enjoy it. Food is such a wonderful thing, and it just really depends how you handle the food while you prepping it or making it, right? You're going to enjoy it much, much more, right? So any questions about the recipes? I think that's ready, right?
Has to be.
Let's see. Let's look and see. I was smelling something nice and
Oh yeah.
yeah. No, I turned it off. Yeah. So we have some delicious kebabs.
Beautiful.
Yeah. If you don't mind, you can do. Remember, I mentioned the orange. Definitely do some orange or lemon juice
That's
on top,
pretty char.
right? Just like that, and then I have some fresh orange juice. I'm just gonna add a little bit to add some
Moistness.
moist in there, and I think that's all you have to do.